Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My kids are loud in the background, so don't worry about them. They're just playing around like that. Uh,
Oh my god.
all right. Looks like one of you guys are going to take this on. Can one of you tell us about Gridiron Survivor?
Ryan.
Sure, yeah, I'll jump. I guess I've heard everyone else's, huh? So this should go well. So hi everyone, I'm a UX engineer for Gridiron Survivor. I've also been, and what I mean by hearing all these is I've had just about everyone on the team on my live stream and asking them what Gridiron Survivor is. So first, I want to talk about the team of Gridiron Survivor. We're a team of junior developers looking for their first jobs in the field. Whether we're self-taught bootcamp grads, or actually a couple of us do already have jobs that are looking to spruce up their skills. We're led by Shashi. So Shashi is a senior UX engineer at Microsoft. He's taken his own time out of his life to mentor all of us and build this product together. So, Gridiron Survivor, that's the team. Gridiron Survivor, the app is a football survivor league app. A football survivor league is just a league where you're choosing what team is going to win that week. The guy who or the player that makes the best picks wins the league. But this just solves a solution of putting it together in spreadsheets. So, for example, Rudy, the customer we're building this for, previously managed this all in Google Sheets and emails, and I just don't know how he did it. I saw the examples of the spreadsheet; it's pretty wild. So instead, what we're going to show off to you today as well is just the better way to do it. You know, you've got automated functions, you've got a web interface, and everything like that. You've got user auth logins, and it's going to report the game results weekly once the games are over, and you'll be able to see what you picked previously, so you don't have to worry about wondering, oh shoot, did I pick that team last week or not? Just a lot of good updates that we're making to it as well. So it's definitely going to be better for a league admin, and I think it's going to be easier to bring on friends and everyone to point them to a URL and say, hey, join this league.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan. And I can add on to that as well. I don't know what you said because I came late, but I'm sure you did a good job. So pretty much, this is a way for boot campers, self-taughters, anybody that's looking for a job to gain some real world experience. It's been an amazing experience just kind of going through this with these individuals. And as we go through, I mean, I'll do the announcement now. Is that I like to cycle through individuals and kind of see when it would be nice to have new people come. Obviously, the goal is to have these individuals get a job, then I can kick them off, and then they can get a job, and I can bring somebody else in. But because of some time restrictions and whatnot, we have 4 openings. So if anybody's interested in joining the Gridiron Survivor team, DM me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Tell me about yourself. Tell me what you are working on or what you're passionate about, and tell me why you want to join the Grand Survivor team. If you DM me and you don't put all 3 of those in, I will not contact you because I may get a lot of messages. And I will promise you this: if you contact me and you answer all 3 of those, I will interview you. Like I will talk to you and give you a chance to go through this. And think about it as even like a mock interview. It could be a mock interview to go into any company. I do the same thing. I'll interview for your soft skills, give you a little challenge, and I already give you the challenge up front, so it's nothing to be surprised of. That way, you have the best chance to succeed, and also allows me to understand where your skills are at. So yes, we are looking for 4 individuals. Who are we looking for? What types of individuals? Well, people that are motivated, want to learn, want to work in a team environment. At the same time, it's mostly front end. We do front end functional programming as well as UX. So those are the 2 different teams we have. Are the functional side of the front end, where these individuals work more with the API, with data manipulation and whatnot. And then the UX side of things is they work with components, the user interface, accessibility, ensuring things are working properly for the user themselves. We do have AppWrite as a database, but we usually just all kind of help out at that point. And then also, project manager would be awesome. Somebody to keep us in order, somebody to keep everybody in check, making sure things are getting done. That'd be fantastic. So if you're interested, please message me of telling me about yourself, what you're interested in, what you've been working on, and why you would be wanting to join the Gridiron Survivor team.
Hey, on that note, I think if at least I'll put myself out there. If anyone has questions as to why they think they might like it, or if they think they might not be good enough, you can reach out to me on X or LinkedIn or GitHub, whatever. I'm happy to talk to you about the experience if you're on the fence about it.
Ryan will yank you off that fence and kick some sense into you.
Exactly. That's what I try to do.
But more importantly, Shashi, what is Ryan's last name?
Ryan's last name is Dot. It says
And
it right
Chris's
there.
first name is Tyler.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So today, this is our agenda. We wanted to highlight our sponsors because our competition has many sponsorship prizes. Each one of our sponsors has gracefully given us some kind of reward to the winner for our competition. If you didn't know, we have our application, which is a NFL Survivor pool. You can go on to gridironsurvivor.com right now to sign up. And as you sign up, you'll automatically join the Gridiron Survivor League. That is the league that we will go off of. There's going to be one winner only. And at the end, if you are the last one surviving, you will win all of these prizes. Number one is a 1-year pro subscription to Frontrunner Mentor. Another one is a subscription to Blog Recorder. Another one is a Get Kraken Pro subscription to their application. And then I wanted to announce that just like 30 minutes ago, Pastel is going to provide us, what level of membership is it again? I'm sorry. Oh, I should have got this ready. Their studio subscription. This is the one where it includes like 5 users and whatnot. It's not just a solo version. So it's a pretty hefty one. It's a nice subscription to have. So first off, we wanted Ryan to tell us about Pastel.
Yeah, happily. So Pastel is something that Shashi's used quite a bit for his portfolio reviews. And it's something that I've joined him on as well. It was a lot of fun. So this is your Pastel dashboard, basically. We're part of a team, so we have a Shashi's history here. But so once you log in, you'll come in here, and you can go ahead and create a canvas. Obviously, you can choose different media types. We're going to go for a website. And today we're going to look over gridironsurvivor.com. Press enter, it fetches it right there, and then we can go ahead and open the canvas. So this is what you would see as a first-time customer jumping in. It opens it up in a new tab, and you can see here that we have this toolbar down here on the bottom.
I can't see your tab.
You cannot see my tab. Oh, you know why? Because it changed. It opened in a new tab. 1 second.
Here.
Yeah. And present. Here you go.
Ta-da.
Alrighty, perfect. So you see the tab on the bottom, and that is for that's Pastel's basically thing. So you're seeing here, you can view the comments, you can change the view that you're looking at, you can make a complete new version of your current Pastel board. And then in the middle here, first I'm going to browse the website. So by default, now this gives you your default actions that you would do on the site. I'm just going to log in so we can see a bit more of the app. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to commenting. So you just toggle this over. And now if I click anywhere, it'll give me the ability to add a comment. I can change the privacy here. Everyone or just people on my team. You can add an attachment, things like that. And you'll see that it starts actually breaking out the page into different sections. Based
Can you add a
on
comment? Can you click on your logo content?
this logo or my logo?
No, your logo heading. Your
Mhm.
logo heading.
Your logo heading.
The title that says your leagues. My
Your
bad.
leagues?
Your leagues.
Yeah,
Click on
yeah,
that.
you got it.
And then can you suggest a content change there?
Sure. Suggest
I
text
think,
change right
yeah, click
there.
on that. Yep. And
Yeah.
do like my leagues.
All right,
Okay.
cool. And again, we can change the who's going to be able to see it. We'll leave it for everyone for now. We'll save it.
Okay. So here's the cool part, and then go to the comments on the left, the bottom left. So right now it says your league, right? If you click on that guy, the comment, it'll switch it and say, hey, this is what I suggested to.
Yeah, and this is nice because you could easily toggle back and forth to see the differences. And then what you can do in here as well is change the status of it. So we've got active, in progress, in review, and resolved. Or you can change different teams to assigning to. So I want Shashi to go ahead and make this change. We could do that. What's really nice as well is actually when Shashi reviewed my portfolio, I did this. So I just said it was active. And when I was actively working on it for my own sake, it was in progress. And then I didn't do code reviews at the time, but now I would say it's in review and then resolved. And so you don't have to do this workflow if you don't want to outside of GitHub. But this is really useful for teams of people that are working on the same project, and you need that asynchronous collaboration, and you can just jump in and make different comments at a time. So so far I've been really impressed by it. You can obviously come over here and finish your review, just like if you're doing a code review on GitHub. But let's say, okay, I don't like that this there's a little bit of space here, so I'm just gonna leave a comment here. Notice it's not on any one element on the page, but I'm just gonna say span full width. Should span full width. And
layout, Ryan. Hold on. Because we can't see you.
You can't see my
No,
camera.
we can't see the. Okay, maybe now we can do it again.
Okay, cool. So I just made this comment right over here. You may notice I clicked on it. The page grays out, and it focuses only on the area where the comment is applicable. And I said it should span the full width. And again, you have everything here. You can go back, and if I view all comments, did I not save the other one? I might not have saved the other one.
I don't know.
Yeah, but let's dive back a bit into another page. So I'm going to come in here and browse. You do have to toggle off browse and comment every time. There's also a keyboard command. In this case, it's Option C. I guess on Windows it'd probably be Alt C, but don't take my word for it. And then we come in here and say, okay, what changes do I want to make? Well, I know someone commented maybe this space is a little bit large. And again, so you don't have to keep track of it in a conversation. You don't in Discord or Slack or on GitHub. This is just a page that's really good for merging visual aspects and words that you can always follow up on later. So maybe decrease this spacing. So this is like a very basic overview of how to do it, but this is exactly what it's used for. I want to make this color brighter, lighter, for example. Use lighter shade, or tint rather, to be proper. And then, again, we can make this content changes. So up here, if we changed it before already, I'll just suggest a text change. And this should be my leagues. And now if I go back to our comments, we can click the change before and after. Obviously, it overwrote the caret and the spacing here. That's something that you could just fix. It takes it all as text, but you can see there that it's changing the text that what I wanted to do. So that's Pastel in a whole. It's really good for collaborative efforts. Or again, if multiple people are viewing a site at once and want to make all their suggestions, you may find that you have a lot of overlap or whatever. But it's just a really good way to get asynchronous work in on a site, project, an email flyer, whatever it might be. And then it can speed up your deliverables by decreasing the time it takes to talk about edits and so forth. That's Pastel. I'm a big fan.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Of course.
Yeah, I've used Pastel for online portfolio reviews for individuals online, and it's super beneficial because sometimes when I didn't use it, I would just say, hey, on this page, that title, yada yada. Here's a screenshot. It's just a lot of work with Pastel. I'm like, okay, here, it's right here. I'm talking about this part right here, this text right here. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great tool.
That's a really good point too. The amount of times I take a screenshot, and even with tools like CleanShot X, I'll draw an arrow to exactly what I'm talking about. It's still all that extra effort and friction that Pastel kind of solves. So, big fan.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Next, we wanted to talk about Appright. Richard.
Yeah, so Appright
Yeah.
is a backend as a service, and it is an open source project. And I am going to share my screen just to show a window, I think. No, entire screen, yes. It's a backend as a service with an open source project where you're able to use various services like create databases or create collections. And you can also do messaging or functions or authentication. So as you can see here, I don't have a database here, so let's just create a database right here. And let's call this Gridiron Survivor. And you can create your own custom database if you want, or you can let Appright auto-generate your database ID. Well, I'm gonna let it auto-generate it for me. So I'm just gonna give that a second. And then same thing with collections. I'm just gonna create collections here. Collection name, let's call this leagues. And then I'm gonna create it. And as you can see, the league was created. So when you create a collection in Appright, the first thing you wanna do is you wanna configure the permissions. So if you go to settings in your collections, you scroll down here, you'll see the section called permissions. And the reason why you want to configure this is because you want to give your users in your project or your application certain access to your database or your collection. And so I'm just going to add an any for my roles here. Normally in your application, you would want to cater this more specifically to your application's needs for your security. So, but for this demo's sake, I'm just going to choose any, and I'm just going to select all of these and click update. So you can see the permission has been updated. And then another thing you want to make sure you do before you proceed is you want to create some attributes here. So attributes, I'm just going to create some like 1 or 2. So we'll call this name, and I'll say like 50. You can select a default value if you like. I'm going to just keep this as a null for the default for this attribute. And I'm going to do one more. Let's do integer. So here I'm going to call this age minimum. Let's say 0. Maximum you want. Oh, let's say 1,000. Oh, why not? And so here you can see that there's no asterisk next to the minimum or maximum. These are not required. These are actually optional. You can set these, or if you don't want to put a minimum or maximum, you can just like, all right, the user can put whatever integer value. You can set these as empty. You can also see here, there's also a default value here as well. I'm going to leave this empty again. You can also make your attributes required, requiring the user to actually input this specific attribute. I'm going to make this one required. And you can also make them an array. In this scenario, I'm not going to make this an array as it's just an age. So I'm just going to create that. So here now we have a collection, and we're able to add documents into our actual collection. So let's do one here. So let's say name Richard, and age, let's do 28. So if I click next, you'll see here the permissions, and then you can ignore that. So document has been created, and you can see that the document ID has been auto-generated by Appright. And you can also see that in the data, you can see the data here. So you can edit it here in the console itself, or you can also edit it in your code or the CLI command as well. So that is just database, and that's one of many services that Appright provides in terms of what you can do in the console itself. If you want to read more, feel free to look at the documentation. There's plenty of resources there to use in Appright. And yeah, that's all I've got for Appright. Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. I know we've been working with Appright and using it as a main database. It's been good. There's some things that definitely can improve, but we know it's in alpha still, and things are still improving. But it's been awesome to just be able to integrate with it, to kind of work with it, and utilize like some of the utilities that already come with the application with obviously use it inside React or Next instead of writing out some of our own functions. It's been nice to have some things that are easy to just work with right away. Cool. Now we have another sponsor, Front End Mentor. Jennifer was going to tell us about Front End Mentor.
Hello. So Front End Mentor is a platform that allows you to do practice real world like web challenges, and I'm going to be sharing that. Yeah, so Front End Mentor allows you to practice real world web development challenges. So if you go to the Front End Mentor site, you can filter by either free or premium. So they do have free, so you don't necessarily have to start with the premium version. And you can also sort by the difficulty. So if you're just a new developer, you can go on and you can start from like the not newbie level and then just work your way up. And then as you move up, you'll kind of see like the complexity of the challenges get bigger and bigger. And as you move up to, you're starting from like HTML, CSS, you can work up, you'll see you start working with more JavaScript. I think the great thing too about like the front end mentor challenges is you can optionally with the pro version, but I think there's some free where you're able to access the Figma design. And I think that's like one of the key highlights that front end mentor provides. So if you're like front end dev, and you work real world designs that you might get from a designer, you can access the Figma file and you can like work with what you would probably receive in a real world job setting, like how it would look, the style guide, what you would need to implement. So I think that's pretty cool. Also, I think another key thing that's really great is the feedback you're able to get with like the solutions you provide. So once you complete a challenge, you can submit a solution. So this was one I did a long time ago, and I got feedback on it, things I could have improved on. It was really nice because sometimes you just kind of like submit challenges and you don't really get any feedback. So I think the feedback's really great. So I think that's also highlights how great the community is at Front End Mentor. They have a whole Discord community. You can see other people's solutions and the feedbacks that they provide. They also have a job board. So I think if you complete a certain amount of challenges, you're able to create a profile. And then on that profile, if you have companies looking to hire using Front End Mentor's job board, you'd be on their platform and they can see the challenges that you've completed. So it's a great way to have like kind of like a portfolio and be able to possibly be hired by companies. And yeah, that's Front End Mentor in a nutshell. Thank you for sponsoring. Really great platform. Use it myself. Sashi's used it. And I mean, 1-year membership sounds great. I'm gonna try to win it.
Yeah, I do have the pro, and I like it because a lot of the projects that are past the easy level, like you can't download the files, and it's nice because then you have access to like these large files, and you can go in and look at all the designs, you get all the pixels you need and whatnot. And it also does some challenges too that you can't access, and so by having access to everything, then you have access to a lot of resources and things to use. So and then maybe the community is free, but Matt, who runs Spreader Mentor and created it, he does a great job of community building, and so their Discord is filled with 2,000 active members during the day. I mean, I think they have like 200,000 or 500,000 signups on their website. So there's a lot of people that have used that site to build and to grow. And every time somebody asks me, hey, like, I don't know what to do with my projects and my portfolio, I always say, go to Front End Mentor, find a project and build there. And it's a great start because like what Jen said, is the design industry ready designs that you'll work with. These projects, some people always say, oh, the easy one looks too easy for me, and I said, okay, go try it first. And they go and they're like, oh, actually it's not so easy.
Or make it harder. I did their markdown editor,
Mhm.
which is an intermediate level, but I turned it into a full stack app. So you can create documents, you can save them, you can modify them. So you can they tell you, turn it into a full stack app if you can. And so if you're trying to be a full stack developer, you can start off by creating just the basics of it using the Figma file that they provide you, which is awesome. That shows that, hey, you know how to take something from a designer and put it into reality. Cool, check. And then once you develop your skills a little bit more, you could then integrate it into a database, full stack app, use AppWrite to maybe manage, all of the data and login for that full stack capability.
Oh, and then I'll use Pastel to review your implementation. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We should merge them together and call it Past Right.
Past right. Oh goodness. But to that
don't forget
point,
that Front-End Mentor also included or added introduction to front-end testing, which is something we've all spoken about a lot. And I think it's great because they show you unit test, integration, and end-to-end test, which is just the icing on the cake, in my opinion, because it's just one of those industry skills that none of us thought about before front-end Gridiron Survivors. So
yeah, that's a great point, Ryan. And the point I was going to make is, even though it's a lot of these seem easy and the design seems simple, you'd be surprised at how off you are. When people come back to me and say, "Hey, can you review this?" and I'm like, "Oh, you mixed this by this amount of pixels. You forgot the border radius, the colors off, the fonts off, the kerniers off." And they're like, "Wait, what? How did you know that?" I'm like, "Because I do this every single day." And if you overlay it, you can see like you're off. Even though you felt like it was pixel perfect in your eyes, it wasn't. And that's the beauty of this, is like it seems simple, but it's not. And then you start to advance more to harder challenges and whatnot. And then when you build your own project, and that's totally fine. That's great. But if you don't have any projects, or you can't think of any good, solid industry, like aesthetically pleasing design projects, then Front-End Mentor is the way to go. Awesome. All right, so next we want to talk about our next sponsor, which is Blog Recorder. Chris, why don't you tell us
All
about
right.
Blog Recorder?
So Blog Recorder is this wonderful, wonderful app that our good friend Eddie made. And met him a few times, and I know Shashi, you were his intern at that conference, squatting at his booth. But it's a phenomenal app where, think about it from I'll play a video here in a second, but think about it from the fact of you could just record in your phone, start talking about a blog post you want to write, and actually organizes it for you. Let's see what Eddie has to say real quick. I don't know if this will work. Let's see.
Do you want to write more blog posts, but often find yourself staring at a blank page?
Yep.
Even though you know what you want to write about, and even though you could probably explain it to someone else in a couple minutes? That's a problem that I used to have, but not anymore, since I made this app called Blog Recorder, and it's a voice blogging app powered by AI. And when you are recording an article with your voice using Blog Recorder, you can just talk about your thoughts. And when you stop recording, you can upload it. And this recording will be processed, and not just as a word-for-word transcription, but as a properly formatted article, which is perfect as your first draft. And of course, you can then edit this article in the integrated editor. This will make it so much easier to write blog posts more often, because all you need is your phone and your voice. You don't need your laptop, you don't need your computer. You can create articles from anywhere. So I'm gonna hit done, hit create article, go to my dashboard, and there you can see that the article is processing. That took about 20 seconds. So I'm gonna open it up, and as you can see, it's a nicely formatted article with some headings. So I'm gonna copy the Markdown format and go to a developer blogging platform that's called dev.to and paste in the Markdown content, hit save changes, And here you go. This is the article that we made.
Boom.
But we can also copy to HTML, for example, which we can use on Hashnode, which is a different logging platform. So they also accept Markdown, but they also accept HTML. And as you can see, here is the content for our blog post that we made. And that's it. Using Block Recorder, we just recorded a full article, exported it, and published it to the internet. If that's something that you would like to try out, go to blockrecorder.com, sign up for an account, and get started.
All right, Eddie. So that is our good friend Eddie, and I highly recommend you try it out. It's definitely well worth it. And I think Shashi, we got some stuff to give away, so I think it's going to be cool with our whoever wins.
Yeah, whoever wins gets a I don't know what tier it is. You go to pricing. Forgot the tier. Every service has a different tier name, and they're all the same. It's hobby.
Yeah, hobby.
Yeah, so you'll get a hobby license to Blog Recorder, which is fantastic. Then you can start using it, trying it out, testing it out, and I guarantee you're not going to stop using it because it's actually really good. Not just because Eddie's our friend, but it's really good.
It's really good. So anyway, there you go.
And not to mention on that, he's shipping like every week. He's got one. Yeah, he's great. So his shipping velocity is great.
I think what was it, like 2 weeks ago? It was only up to 15 minutes, and then now it's up to 60 minutes.
20.
Right? 20?
20 minutes now.
20.
Yeah, we gained 5 extra minutes.
Oh, gained 5. Which one? I thought he said he got up to 60. Maybe he didn't ship that one yet.
He was trying to, but I think instead he said, the best that it's going to get right now is he wasn't able to scale it appropriately and keep it affordable for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Something he's also been working on which is coming soon, is trained AI models. So again, this is just one person doing it. He was trying to make it so everyone could make their own model.
I'm his intern. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. Shashi, I mean, no. But again, it's just like what's going to be cost effective for him as a business, but also the users, right? Like you don't want to outprice your users. So said he's going to be working on training some models that you can then choose from before you start your recording. So then that will obviously change the result of the blog post.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And then we have one last sponsor we wanted to talk about, which is on me. And I'm going to share something here. Let's see here, what am I sharing? No. Oh, I can't do. There we go. All right. Okay, now I gotta go. Gotta double this up. Sorry. Oh, just keep it like this. All right, so this is the Get Kraken desktop. This is our Gridiron Survivor repo. So as you can see, I'm in the main branch right now, and it's a little bit hard to read right now, but where are we at? Okay, here we go. Here's the main, right? So oftentimes when you have to look at Git, the history of Git and commits and stuff like that, you don't have a visual representation of like where feature branches are, or how far behind you are with your branch, right? And what kind of commits are coming up, and then where's my development branch, right? Compared to all the feature branches, or even compared to the main branch, like how far is it up, right? So you can see all of that, which is fantastic. But the awesome thing is, like, if you go into that branch itself and you look at the history, you can go back and say, okay, hey, like let's find out when Alex committed this email notification, right? When did he do that? At that way, what point? We can see it there. Or let's look at Shachi's failing test, and then we can click on that and then click on the file itself, and it does a diff for you. So now you can kind of see what was committed, what went into that commit. And then if I go back here, we can then see this again, right? And then what I usually do is in my loco, like it tells me where I'm at, but this is the cool thing too. It tells me that I'm 2 ahead and 3 behind in my main branch. I don't know how that happened, but but it did. And so that's really cool because then now it tells me like if I push up, I can't. Like I have to pull down before I push up. But the awesome thing is this too. I can see all the remote branches. And let's say for Chris's branch, right? And I'm like, okay, I want to bring this in and test it locally. I don't have his branch. I would have his fold. I do have one of his, but I wanted to bring this feature branch in. I mean, I can click on it and view what the changes are on the right, but I can easily just right click, create branch from here. Oh, not that. That's the wrong one. It's not create branch from here. Poll. No. Oh, checkout. Yeah. So I'm going to check out. And it checks it out. Now it brings it to my local. Now I have it locally. And then I can run it, build it, test it out, and all of that. And then I also have all the files he changes that he changed on the right side here. So it's a great visual representation of everything that you have in Git, opposed to trying to do everything command line. For me, this is way more efficient. I can see everything like from a click of a button, right? I don't have to check it out. I can see everything that's here from Carlos's commit. Like you see this line here, this is all Carlos's commits, right? So this is what he committed. And then if you go down here, this is the second commit in that feature branch, and you just keep going down. Now these are, you just keep adding on. So it's easy, you could easily follow what's happening and what's going on. The biggest thing for me is stashes as well. Like I can see all my stashes, and you see on the right side, if I click on the stashes, you'll see all the files that I've stashed along the way within my repo. That way I can either keep them as history or switch branches without losing my changes. So that's really cool. Other things, other features, because there's so many features with Git Kraken. Pull requests, like you can do pull requests right here. Like it's right here. Like I just clicked on the button, and inside GitHub, like I can go in here and look at the pull requests. I don't have to go to Git at all. Like I can write comments here. I can improve it and whatnot. It is all right there. Something that we have not done yet in the Grand Survivor is a team. Like there's a way to do collaborative Git and ways to share stuff, right? We haven't done that yet, but we have the availability. So that's the next step for us. We've been so busy building, we haven't been able to utilize this feature, but it's also something that we are considering. And then there's one last thing that I also wanted to share, which is Git Lens. Okay.
Show all the blames.
Okay.
Yep.
So as you can see, this file is our week. We'll go to the week one. This week one, right? So let's say I found an error, and the error was, sorry, Jennifer, on the update current week. For some reason, this prompt is being passed through, errored out. It wasn't working. And I come in here, I'm like, okay, who did this and when, right? Oh, it was Jennifer. Oh, okay, when did you do it? September 5th. That's like a week ago. And here's the commit, right? If I click on that, I can go to GitHub and see exactly what happened. But I also see like her comments and whatnot here. And then who approved this PR. That's big trouble too. That's me and mine. And so you can do that. But as you can see, like if I start clicking around at the lines, you can see all the people who made the last change in this file for those lines. So Ryan did this. So let's say he forgot something or this aired out, same thing, right? We can see that, okay, it closes this ticket. This is the commit. And these are the comments he put in the PR. So it's like easy to read, and who approved this PR, right? So these things are very beneficial, because as you go in and start debugging and issues start happening, like you'll start to see like, oh, like let's say there was another array that you were supposed to add here, but we didn't add it. Like it was just missing. We can see here, oh, it's me. Oh shoot, 2 days ago, it's my fault. So now see that like that team name was removed, and it might have caused an issue. So now we know exactly like what happened and whose fault it is. It is called blame for a reason. You don't point fingers, but you're like, okay, you just say, okay, this piece of code caused the issue, and now we know why it did, right? So that's the blame, but then you can bring it right back if that was the issue. So Get Lens is super powerful. That's how I use Get Lens. Is there another way y'all use Get Lens?
Honestly, I typically use it for the blame. Again, I'm never pointing blame, but it's more of like, hey, who can I talk to about this change? Why did they do it? And get better understanding of it. Especially if it's code I don't fully understand, which, let's face it, like a lot of what Chris works on, I have to wrap my head around. So I'll often reach out to him saying like, hey, I need some help with this.
Yeah, there is a way. Shoot, I forgot how to do that. There's a way to show you every single line and who changed it last. How do I do that? I don't remember.
But with the Gatecrack and Pro membership, I think it also gets you the Git Lens Pro extension, right? Yeah,
Yep, it does. Yep. So, and a lot of things I'm showing you are actually free, which is fantastic. I just had a conversation with the Get Kraken team yesterday, and they are going to modify their subscriptions. It's going to be better. It's going to allow you to still have a free version, but there's going to be more bells and whistles, and allowing you to kind of understand like what you get with the free version or the light version they call it, and then moving forward. But this is still work in progress, and more things to come. Awesome. So again, all of our sponsors, and we just want to showcase them and highlight them because we've been building so much, and we do call them out and whatnot, but it's also nice to walk through all their services, what they do, and how they benefit not just us, but the developers and the companies out there. So definitely hit up our sponsors. But again, for our competition, if you win it, you get, what do you get, Chris?
What you got?
What do you win if you win our Gridiron Survivor competition for the Survivor pool?
I don't remember.
Sorry, I put you on the
it's
spot.
a ton. No. So we get 1 year front end mentor sub, 1 year block recorder subscription, 1 year Get Kraken Pro, and 1 year Pastel Studio subscription. That's a value of over $1,000 easily.
Yeah, it's a value of over $1,200 right now. And there's one more coming next week, which we will then announce as well. But again, you have the first 2 weeks are freebie because the NFL season has 18 weeks, and first 2 weeks for us are free. That way you can continue to sign up and play around with it. And then starting from week 3, we'll start counting the losses. And then we'll find out who the lone survivor is at the end, who will magically appear with all these great prizes. So,
wasn't there a tech commute prize as well?
Oh, you
Yes.
are 100% correct. You also receive your own episode on Tech Commute, where Jason and Ellie will interview you on your experience with the front end, the Gridiron Survivor. We're doing front end stuff. The Gridiron Survivor application, and just getting to know you and whatnot. They'll figure out what to talk to you about. If you're not a developer, that's fine. If you're a project manager or CEO, that's great. Like that's awesome. Like they'll do your own episode with them. But yeah, we want this to be beneficial, but to get the data for us would be fantastic because then we can utilize the data to build data models, and not just that, but to have more to work with. Obviously, any application you want to have more users so you can test things out, ensure that you're creating the best user experience. So that is our goal. Sweet. Next, we are going to go into sprint demos. I forgot who was first for sprint demos.
It's a good question. I know it's not me because I don't have any demo.
I can go Shashi if you want me to.
Okay.
I don't
Yep.
know. Okay.
I think you're the only one today.
Oh, well. All right. All right, let me get my screen set up here.
No problem. As you're getting your screen set up, Yeah, we've been building every week or two, and the cadence we're going to follow now is because we're in the NFL season. We will, if there's any major bugs that come out of it, our priority zero, we'll get those in and done before the new week starts. But anything that's past that, we want to slowly create those in like 1 week sprints where we get them in and then get them shipped, and then they'll be ready for the week after that. But anything that's going to help our users immediately or blocking them, we definitely want to get those in immediately into our production environment as soon as possible. So if you find any bugs, there's a feedback form that we put in a post, but we need to create like a little icon or something on our website, so you can click on that and then go there to provide feedback for us. That way we can start improving this application.
I'll go ahead and put in an issue for that feedback form to be
Perfect.
All right. So we've been shipping a lot this past week since we internally we're getting ready to do a lot of P0s and P1s across the team. Shashi came to me this week and asked, about something really unique where, we're looking at once a user makes an entry, what if we showed their previous picks right there on the entry selection page? So that's what I've been working on primarily this week, along some other back-end type bigger bugs that we that we found and resolved. So I'm going to log into the app. Note for everyone that has asked for their passwords to be reset, that is coming. I am starting to work on that today. So that should be shipped next week as well. That way you can reset passwords. And something went wrong. What went wrong?
It's always something.
I just.
It's always when you go live. That's something.
Oh, invalid password. Okay. Well,
yeah, actually, I'm gonna put in an issue for that to make more descriptive toast errors if it's an invalid password and or.
There we go. Okay. So once you log in, right, this is our screen that you can choose your leagues. You can go down here. If you're not a part of a league will show up down here. You can join that league. Let's say I'm going to join the front end mentor league. We hit join, it shows up here, and it no longer is here in the list. So it's a great way to kind of go in and join leagues that you want to join, be a part of. The feature that I'm talking about is not on our production site yet, so I'm going to go to our test league. Do not join. All right. And once we're here, what we added in was before it just showed you the logo, but it didn't say it was actually current. So let me zoom in on this a little bit. So this shows your current pick here on the right. And then I had to go in and add in last week's pick because we had some errors in how we were storing some data. So we had to make some updates to that. So nobody has entries from last week stored. So everyone gets a free week.
Magic.
But anyway, so a couple things we had to take into consideration here on this specific page was, as these weeks populate, it'll eventually scroll. So that'll be nice. I wanted a way to have the current pick stand out. Ryan had a great recommendation to add the opacity to where it says like week 1 right here. And after talk with Ryan Chashi, one of the things we went back and forth on is, do we do a 1 at top or do we have it be week 1? And I think week 1 makes it more clear and precise.
Yeah, that's the thing we're going for is,
yep.
Even if we like right now, everybody's a beginner user, right? Unless if you've done this before, but that's also appealing. Then, and it's also like, hey, like we're very clear and distinct with our app. That way we're creating a good user experience.
Yep. So this is our week 1 pick. This is what I theoretically chose last week. Here's my current. Now, let's say for entry 1, we're still within the time window to make this specific change. I'm going to go to change pick. And you can see that we have it listed here as well. So we're going to have all of the week 1 picks or all of the picks listed across here. So as you're going through and making your selection, you can see what you've already picked in the previous week. It won't be available here, but you can go through and give that.
You go back to see the Seahawks.
Yep.
in the middle of the schedule.
Where?
Scroll down where they play right there. So yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
see,
disabled.
so I had Seahawks selected and it's grayed out. I can't even click on it, which is great. But you can also see right here is like, all right, I've already picked the Seahawks, so I'm going to ignore that. So it just helps you know, gives you the information right there when you need it, and that's something that differentiates this app from some of the other ones that are out there where, you can go find a history somewhere, but it's not available to you as you're on the screen. So the goal is keep you on the screen. Let's say I'm like, all right, you know what? This week I am going to go for the Steelers. So let's say I choose the Steelers. I select the Steelers. All right. It automatically redirects now to this page, which is a really nice feature. And then you can see that I have the logo changed here from what it was. If I want to go change it again, right now it's the Steelers. I'm like, you know what? Shashi kind of gave me a look. I don't know if I trust him. So I'm going to go through and I'll do the Rams.
Ooh.
Oh gosh. And you can see it changed immediately right here.
And at the top too, you have a toast notification that tells you.
Yep. So you get the toast notification at the top. It changes immediately here. If I go back into change pick, it still shows my previous week stuff. Now that is the big piece of information that I've been working on. Let's look at the code real quick.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can I bring up one idea I just had while you're here?
Yeah.
Can you go into change your pick? I don't know, Shashi, your thoughts on this, but would it be wise maybe because there are, it's a long page, especially at the start of the season, to add your current pick at the top of this screen as well? Would that be valuable information? I mean, like we already have it on the previous page, but what do you mean?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense because the user knows that chose that, but coming here, it would just like revalidate that, right? Yeah. So because it's the same component, it does make sense. Because even if you can scroll down, like you have to scroll pretty far down.
Yeah, to see this pick, the team you currently picked. So yeah, that's all I was saying, Chris, was we should add a current pick as well at the top, just like you already have implemented on the other page. Yeah. And that way, at a glance, you know exactly who you picked.
Because eventually, what we're going to do is you can go to any week. And then once you go to any week, you will see like the pick you made for that week in the previous picks.
So you're just saying, and that's not hard. You're just saying bring in the current pick and add that right here. Now, that's definitely achievable. Yeah, that's not
easily achievable.
That's not a big code change at all.
No, just a thought I had. That's all.
And then before you go to code, can you go back? I want to talk about trade-offs. The week one and current, right? We're gonna have it scroll. There was a thought to make it more complex and potentially like click it and it opens up instead and whatnot. What was the decision behind going with this version instead?
And to be clear, the current is not going to scroll. So current will always stay here. It's only the items that are dim. So when these start to populate, you'll be able to scroll through the different weeks. So current will always pick. I think that is something that we're going to need some of the UX team to go in. I did my best with styling, but I'm not a Ryan and I'm not a Jennifer on some UX stuff. So definitely we'll probably need to have a ticket for them to go in and just make sure everything's set to scroll and all that sort of stuff the proper way. But for right now, we're good for at least 2 more weeks. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. So the decision behind that, right? Why did we go with the scroll? Because it's a scroll instead of like click and drag, or like it's the left items are smaller and then they grow as you hover over it, like something fancy.
Yeah, exactly. I think the idea was to have it right here, and we talked about having another place to click and then have it view up. A lot of the times users don't click in those specific areas. So when it's right here in front of you, it's like, oh wait, what did I do in my past weeks? You can see it right here. That's a nice little feature to have, rather than having to have a button to click and then where do we add that button? Does it make sense to put it here? It's just it makes sense.
I am worried about when we do get to it, making it responsive on mobile, because currently on small screens, there's already overlap. And we've said before the beginning, this is not optimized for mobile yet, but it's going to require a lengthy rework to make it
Yep.
happen.
Yeah.
We will figure it out.
Mm-hmm. I'm
We
looking
will.
forward to that challenge.
I'm just giving you more challenges, Ryan. That's
I'm looking
all.
forward to it unless I get a job before then. I'm looking forward to that even more.
Yeah.
I hope you get a job for that.
Me too,
Yeah.
man. So then
Me
I'll don't have to
three.
do it.
Me
Exactly.
three. I echo that. Cool.
Oh, I forgot to show you my cool shirt. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at this cool shirt.
Oh, look at that swag.
Oh, get cracking.
Oh, Shashi got the swag.
Actually, you all get it. I just need to send the information to them, and you'll get this T-shirt as well. Oh, my team.
All right, so let's talk about a few things that we had to do from a code perspective. So let me get down here to the actual code where this comes in. All right. So right here is where we have, this is under the specific week. So this right here is we're under the entry. We are at, let me show you this page right here. So this is this specific page right here. All right. And so what I had to do was I created I'll go through it in a minute, but we had to do a pick history. So I needed to find a way to create the pick history. So let's go up here to that. Hang on, let me find it. We got a lot of files in here, Shashi. Here it is. Okay. So let's kind of walk through this a little bit. We have to get the entry ID. Now the entry ID is coming in as a parameter. That's a dynamic ID that's coming in through using Next.js routing. All right. So if you look here at the top in brackets, that is the entry ID. When I go here, you can see that entry ID right here. I know it's hard to see probably on that smaller screen, but it's this piece right here in the router. All right. Current week. So we get the entry ID, the current week. We need to convert that to a number so that we can utilize it. Anything that comes in via the params comes in as a string. So if you need to convert that to a number for whatever reason, that's what we did here. So I took in the current week and we're just changing the week that's passed in to be a number. All right. So then what we got to do is we got to get all of the users' current entries. So this would be all of these right here, entries 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 that I have. So I got 5 entries that have data in them. All right. So I go in, I get my current entries, but I'm on, in this specific page, I'm on a specific entry ID. I'm in entry 1. Okay. So that should be another note here. Actually, if you think about it, entry 1, week 2 picks. We should probably have entry 1 above here or something like that.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, because there's no identification on
Yeah.
entry. Good. Okay.
Yep.
Bug,
All right. Hey,
Ryan,
Richard, you're taking notes, right?
Richard. He
right.
wasn't, but maybe he is.
All right, cool.
I'll add an issue for it.
So
I was not taking notes.
we get all my entries, but then I got to find my current entry. So I'm just going to pass in the entry ID that's already coming in from the URL. All right. It's coming in from my parameters. All right. And so I'm going to make sure we get those to match. If nothing is found, which something should be found because you shouldn't be going to that page if you don't have an entry, then we're going to have an error. Now, once we get from there, we need to get the history. So right now what I do is all of the history is it's an array of team names stored in current entry selected teams. So that way when you select a team, it goes into that array. So in the following weeks, that is what makes it so it's not selectable. That's what makes it you've already picked it. You can't choose it again in the future. Now, here's where we get a little bit more in depth. So there's a few things that have to happen here. All right. If you have, if you're on week 1, you're not going to have a previous week. So right now the week cannot equal 1. All right. And if for whatever reason you didn't select the team on that first week, and Shashi, this is why I brought this up to you earlier of like, what do we do here? For right now, there is a chance that you could have no pick of the previous week. So if it is week 2, 3, or 4, but you don't have a pick, then we don't want to run this because nothing's going to show up. for that specific previous week. So now if you have I think so let me continue walking through this. So then we go the entry history, we're going to slice it starting at 0 in the array all the way through to the current week. So if we're at current week is week 2, it's going to say we're going to slice it from 0 all the way to the first point, which is pretty much going to be.
That's the thing I hate, is that the week doesn't correspond with the index. It's the same question I asked you, Richard. Does the ground floor start on 0 or 1? In Europe it's 0, in the US it's 1.
It's so annoying, but that's what we had to do. In order to be able to select the right chunk of teams, because here's the thing too, is the way that array that is set up is when you go here, when you see this team current, so the LA Rams, right? That is the last item in the array. We don't want that to be listed in the history yet. Even though it's recorded, we don't want that listed into the history. So what I had to do was figure out a way to go, okay, we are not going to include that last one, but we're going to take everything up until that last one in the current array, and we're going to take it. Then from there, I created, because we're using this everywhere, I created a utility function to get the NFL team logo, where we pass in all the NFL teams and the team name, and it gives us back the URL for the specific, for the logos of each team in the array. And it preserves the order of the array as well. So you don't have to worry about them going out of order. And then I just set our, pick history here.
And that eventually be like a utility class instead.
Which one?
Like the weeks, the current week, and like
all of that could be utility.
Yeah, because we will start using it. I mean, right now it's fine.
No. You're
get it there, and then we'll get it modularized, because then it becomes a common piece of functionality within the application.
And as our application is growing, I'm starting to see areas where we're utilizing a lot of the same. And I'm trying to minimize that. Like, for example, this get NFL teams logo. Like, I was doing this everywhere. So I just said, okay, I'm going to create a little utility function for this that goes in, you pass in an array of NFL teams, and you pass in a team, and it
that's okay. The app is built the way it's built because it's built by junior engineers.
Yep.
And that's awesome, because then there's a lot of refactoring and things that we can do.
Yep.
Like we were following the MVVM model, but we're not doing that anymore. We're just going to get done, and then we're going to go back and decouple our functionality, and we'll go into models and view models and all of that. So that's why this project is cool, because there's a lot of work that can still be done. There's a lot of refactoring, a lot of learnings, and so as we continue, I mean, obviously some things I don't let get through, because it's there's better ways to do it, but things like this, it's like, okay, that's great. Let's get a first pass, and we'll come back and make it better.
Yeah.
Because if we keep stopping to make it perfect, we'll never get there.
And that's, I think, Shashi, you've done a great job of leading us through that, because you have people that are OCD on the team, like me, who are like, I just want to fix everything that I see, and I would never get out of a ticket if I did that, because even some of my old legacy stuff that I've done, I'm like, I can make that a little better.
Same here. Yep.
So after we get the history, so this entire history is going to be an array of logos in order from where they were picked. So we got set pick history here, entire history, cool. If you come back down here then into the application, all right, again, we're only going to show it if we have at least one pick or more to show. So the pick history length has to be greater than 0. And then we have this section, and we just map through the logo URL and index it, right? So this is where we can add in the index +1, right? Because the index here does start at 0. It does not start at
same thing again.
1.
Damn it.
Yep. So, week 1 is going to be, that, that's the only thing we have right there. And then one thing I did do a change in is, I I added in next image because it does a little bit better loading images and optimizing them just behind the scenes. It's just changing out. It just literally changing this from small IMG, importing this. The one thing that did change in the tests is it doesn't come back as a simple URL, right? It comes
does
a little,
does the attributes, the custom attributes still work? The data test ID?
Yeah. So the test worked. Test ID
Good.
works great. The problem is the URL that comes back is this weird like next underscore URL / thing that is processed through next.build time. And I was able to grab that and use that in the test. So it all works now fine for what.
And that's because we're using that next image component.
Correct. So the way that next image component takes it in. So that is how we then display the specific thing. So if we have more than 1 week, cool. Now, let's go over here to how we did it here. So very same way, but again, a little bit different. All right. So if we go down here to this specific component, we have 2 areas that are showing images. So again, this is being passed, and I'll show you where this is passed in from. But we have our pick history right here. We have, this is the opacity 8, Ryan, that we added in. And it's the exact same thing as what we saw before with the data test ID as history logo. But now we have the is pick set to go down here into the current pick. So this is where they separate. All right. So this, whatever is in this pick right here under current, let me switch it right here. This is the current in orange is this specific one right here. So that'll never show up in the history until the next week. And then this gets bumped up into the history, and then we go from there. Now, one other item to show is when I go into league, I think it is league ID all. All right. So this is when you go into, this is this page right here. This is your league ID entry all. So we're in league ID entry all. And we go down here. Nothing really changed up here. But here's this function was already here before. So you can see, let's take a look at some, Mai wrote this, Jennifer wrote that piece, Mai wrote this piece, Jennifer, Shashi came in here and did this. And then I updated this. And so what I did is I changed a few of the variables so that it was more clear as to what they were. So selected team logo. Well, we have the selected team, which is going to be the entry selected teams. Remember, current week -1, that is that last item of the array. So we're still using the same data to pull in that information. This is not a piece of state. It's just current week -1. Cool. That is the one, that is that last object or that last item in the array itself. And then same thing down here. And this is where you see a lot of duplication. I set my user pick history to an empty string because if nothing is found, if nothing is here, we still have to pass in an empty string, and that'll just register as a string of 0. Current week is greater than 1 and entry selected teams greater than 0. Then we're going to go through and do the same thing. We're going to slice it, take everything except for the selected team, which is taking care of that last item in the array. We're going to map through it to get all the logos, and then we pass it in. We pass it in as user pick history right here, and then that is pulled up in the.
So it's prop drilled in.
Yeah, so it's just pop drilled in because it could change, right? Now, can some of this be set in the store eventually? Sure, but there's some things that change so consistently it may not be worth.
What if
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying earlier, what if when we have the ability to come straight to the entry instead of coming there and then you prop drill it, like they won't get that data anymore?
Not true, because then if we're passing in, we just have to pass in the right data to get it. So we'd have to pass in if we're trying to look at a different user's information, you just have to pass in their user ID and that's it.
Oh yeah, because it's still going in there anyway.
Correct. So we'll have to do some factoring, just
Yeah.
because we're not using the current logged in user. We're going to have to figure out how to store and how to fetch that specific information. But it's not going to be a huge refactor. So this is where I updated this in the league entries. I had to update the iLeague, our props as well to take it in, but user pick history right here. That's a mandatory item. And then I already just went over this function, but this is where it's coming into the league entries function where we process the pick history and then we process the current pick. So a lot of code to go into. I won't even go into the test because the test was insane to pull up for this. But I think this was a fun one to work on. I started working on this last night. So this has been a fun little one to pull in. I'm sure we can find some areas for improvements as far as code reuse and stuff like that. But
that's totally fine. We are agile. We should build so that it works, get it working, come back and figure out how to make it better, and then we'll refine, right? Because if we try to piecemeal this or we try to make this as perfect as possible, it is hard to determine that until we use it more and understand how the usage is. So
but there you go. So that's kind of what I've been working on. Some new features coming in that guys should see those when we start doing next week's picks.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. I just want to let you guys know there's 270 people watching us. So
hi, all 270 of you.
269. Just kidding. No, but this is kind of what the team is building and working on. We want to listen to customer feedback, hear your pain points, hear things that are working well, and adapt right away and make it better. This application, we are not a big corporation, so we can move fast. We can add things, we can do things quickly, and make things better. So hopefully we can receive some feedback on this application as you're using it, and we will listen to all feedback and figure out how to prioritize those asks. So, but most importantly, we released some of our P0 bugs, and there's more coming on because some of these features, like the one Chris worked on, that's going to be very beneficial as we move along with this competition. Want to give you the most information you have and you can utilize to understand how this process works. And whatever else that you may come up with, just let us know, because we're all ears and we are here to hear your voice. So any last words from anybody else?
No, I don't have anything. I think right now we don't have the option for users to make their own league. But if you do want to, you could reach out to one of us. We have to do it manually, but then you and your friends could join that league.
Yep, we're open to that too. Yep. Yeah. Next year we will make it more robust, where you can create your own league with a password and whatnot. That way, not anybody can go there, or even a code, right? Where you have to come into this site, certain code, then you can get access to that and you can join that league. Right now, we're just making it simple and getting up and running, so that we can start collecting some data. So, yeah, I think it's going pretty well right now. We got like 40 signups or so outside of our team, which is fantastic. But we can definitely use more. And the best thing is, if you participate and win, you win a bunch of prizes. Like don't let me win. That's what I'm telling you guys. Like, don't allow me to win. Like, I'm doing this too. If I win, I'm winning them all. So don't let me win. Okay?
Unfair advantage, Vishal.
I promise you, I won't touch the database, but I'll use my football knowledge as much as I can to get there. Yeah. Awesome. And lastly, I know Richard had something he wanted to share with us.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, yeah. So I ended up having a conversation with someone at a company, and things are looking kind of good. We'll say that this person is the owner of this company, and it was a short chat, but we had some conversations, and I was able to meet them through that conference connections. So if you guys are ever interested in going to a conference but you're on the fence, just go.
There you go. We're rooting for you, Richard.
Yep, always.
Ooh, that's awesome, Richard. Good luck. I know once Richard started going to that conference, he got the human interaction high, and now he can't stop. He goes to meetups. He's going to all things open. Like he already bought his ticket for Render for next year. Like he can't stop, and which is fantastic because I think Richard noticed that there is just a different elements when you meet people in person. There's just a different connection that you make, and that's why I attended that conference 2 times this year and wanted to go more to a couple other conferences as well because the connections you make that's pretty much your network. You're building your network out. Network could be for many years to come, and there's some of them could become fruitful right away. Some of them could take 5 to 10 years, but anybody you meet and you have a great connection with, you just build a bond with, and those relationships just expand. And like you guys know me now, and I know a ton of people, and then a lot of those people know more people, right? So that network just continues to grow. And so if you never met any individuals in person and they never had that connection with you, then your network is just going to stay small. So definitely go to meetups. That's a great first start. Even just meeting up virtually too. There's virtual coffee shop, virtual coffee chat, right, Chris? There are other this Discords that meet up 100 devs. They have some things that they meet up with as well online. You start with that first, and then you can go to things in person. So,
or even if you see, individual developers have like Calendly or Cal.com links just for coffee chats for meeting new people. Book one. Why not?
Oh, yeah. And I was going to mention that Danny Thompson is doing a big conference in Dallas in December. Commit Your Code conference is coming. It is December 5th and 6th in Dallas. We're expecting a lot of people. And the great thing is all the proceeds goes to nonprofits. I think the tickets are only like $30, $20.
$30, yep.
Like very affordable. Most of it's coming from sponsors to pay for food, to pay for coffee, all this stuff. Danny's doing a great job with the community there. And I think most of us are going from here.
Yep, I'm going definitely.
I'm sorry, Chris. Yeah,
I'm waiting on word.
Maybe you'll go. Hey, maybe you will go. Jen, you gonna go? It's like 4 hours from you, right?
Oh yeah, definitely going. Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
After
Chris?
3 conferences this year, it's the plane tickets. It's like plane tickets in hotel's gonna cost like $1,200-$1,300. So
yeah, I'm ready to play pickleball, Jennifer.
Unless someone wants to sponsor me and pay for my trip.
Yeah, there you go.
Anybody want to sponsor me and pay for my trip?
I would if I could.
I know you would.
I would if I could.
Yeah.
Definitely would if I could.
I wouldn't. Just kidding.
Shashi, I heard you were looking to adopt a 5th kid, so.
I already have one, Richard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Richard's Chris's kid because I had too many. So
the negative of Richard going to a conference, though, is now he has 3 milkshakes a day, so.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
I'm on the milkshake high.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to just thank everybody for coming. We also wanted to continue to just thank our sponsors as well. But please follow along. We have a lot of announcements coming up. We'll re-announce the competition. We'll announce that we're looking for 4 new members to join the Gridiron Survivor team as well, and a bunch of other stuff. So, all right. See you in the next one. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.